Hey everybody, you're watching We the Fandom, where we discuss comic books, pop culture, and the fandom experience. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to see more content. How's it going everybody? Jacob here at We the Fandom, and in today's video I'll be doing my breakdown and review of the new Suicide Squad film. I had intended to make this video the night that the film came out, but instead I ended up going to the emergency room and I've had a rough few days, so this video is coming out a lot later than I would have liked. But this movie is a sort of sequel to the original 2016 Suicide Squad. That film isn't really referenced. However, certain characters from the first do show up to include Rick Flag, Field Commander of Task Force X, Harley Quinn, the crazy clown lady and now former girlfriend of the Joker, Captain Boomerang, who's a small-time criminal who uses exploding boomerangs, and Amanda Waller, warden of Belle Reve Prison and leader of Task Force X. In this film, we get a mostly new cast, and it jumps right into the new squad's mission, which seems to be to infiltrate the island nation of Corto Maltese. The team is dropped in near the beach by Hilo, led by Rick Flag, including Captain Boomerang and Harley Quinn, as I mentioned before, but now including Javelin, an ex-German Olympian turned criminal, played by Flugelborg, Blackguard, a mercenary played by Pete Davidson, Savant, also a mercenary played by Michael Rooker, Weasel, a humanoid weasel based off of the New 52 version of the character played by Sean Gunn, the brother of director James Gunn, Mongal, the daughter of the galactic warlord Mongol, played by Miaoling Ning, and TDK, the detachable kid, an interpretation of Arm Fall Off Boy, who is a really obscure and pretty dumb character who can remove and telekinetically control his arms from afar, played by Nathan Fillion. None of these characters really matter, except for Rick Flag and Harley Quinn, because they all end up getting killed at the very beginning of the movie. Weasel drowns after leaving the helicopter because he couldn't swim. TDK and Javelin both die from gunshot wounds. Blackguard, who had betrayed the team right off the bat, gets shot in the face immediately. Mongal tries to take down a helicopter and burns to death when it crashes. Captain Boomerang gets sliced up from the rotors of that helicopter, and Savant gets his head blown off after getting scared and trying to leave the mission. Harley ends up getting captured by the army of Corto Maltese, and Rick Flag joins up with a resistance movement. On another part of the island, we find out that there was a second team sent in. Their mission: find the place called Jotunheim, which is a fortress built by the Nazis during World War II, currently being overseen by the Thinker, a DC villain with heightened intelligence and based off of the New 52 version of the character played by Peter Capaldi. He, alongside General Mateo Suarez and President Silvio Luna, are given to us as the villains of the film, with the squad's mission being to go to Jotunheim and prevent the continuation of Project Starfish, and we'll get back to all that in a little bit. The second team is led by Bloodsport, aka Robert Dubois, played by Idris Elba, a mercenary trained in combat since childhood and able to use anything as a weapon. He even took down Superman once with a kryptonite bullet. Peacemaker, played by John Cena, who described himself as being able to do anything that Bloodsport can do but better. King Shark, aka Nanawe, a demigod in the form of a humanoid shark who is also incredibly dumb. Ratcatcher 2, an original character for this movie and the daughter of the original Ratcatcher, who is a real character in the comics. She basically has technology that allows her to control rats, and she is played by Daniela Melchior. And Ratcatcher 1, who we only get shown in flashbacks, is played by Taika Waititi, who also does the voice of Korg and directed Thor Ragnarok. And last but not least, we've got Polka Dot Man, crazy guy whose mother wanted her children to become superheroes and experimented on them with dimensional energy. So his body houses interdimensional virus that causes his body to produce a rash in the form of glowing polka dots, and he throws polka dots at people. And he's also a little crazy because he can see, basically he sees his mother everywhere. Like every person that he sees looks like his mother to him. This team is actually successful in their mission of making it to Jotunheim, meeting up with Rick Flag on the way, kidnapping the Thinker so that he will help them infiltrate the tower, and meeting up with Harley Quinn after she kills President Luna, after this weird sequence where he asked her to marry him, and the whole thing just ended up not really being what I thought it was. But the team is back together, or at least those who survived, and they managed to get into Jotunheim. The gang learns that Project Starfish is the being Starro, a giant extraterrestrial starfish found by American astronauts 30 years prior, having been experimented on by the Thinker to try and learn how to mentally control people. Starro ends up killing the Thinker when he is released and breaks out of Jotunheim. Meanwhile, Ratcatcher and Rick Flag see the terrible experiments that the Thinker has been conducting and learn that these experiments have been done at the behest of the American government. Flag finds the computer records and all the data regarding Starro and is determined to leak it to the press, but then Peacemaker shows up, revealing that he actually had a side mission of his own to locate and destroy the data regarding the US's involvement in the experiments. Peacemaker and Flag get into a knockdown drag-out fight, which ends with the death of Flag, and then Peacemaker almost kills Ratcatcher 2 when Bloodsport shows up after the destruction of the fortress, and Bloodsport kills Peacemaker by shooting a smaller bullet through Peacemaker's bullet and then takes that data from Ratcatcher. But of course now we get to the final boss fight as Starro escapes Jotunheim and uses his smaller stars to take over the army of Corto Maltese. But when the squad contacts Amanda Waller, she tells them that as long as they destroyed the data, that the mission's over and they can leave. That's when the squad, as well as Waller's analyst team, go rogue, with the squad heading to stop Starro and the analysts knocking out Amanda Waller. The team decides they're going to be heroes and tries to do everything they can in their own way to stop Starro, but Polka Dot Man is the first to get killed, and where it seems like everything is lost, Ratcatcher 2 summons an army of rats to eat Starro, and Harley Quinn jumps into Starro's eye with a javelin, and through those combined efforts, they bring down Starro, and everybody lives happily ever after. Although I'm not sure if all the people who had been controlled by Starro actually lived or died. The movie ends with Bloodsport making a deal with Waller, that being that the squad goes free and his daughter doesn't go to prison as long as he doesn't release the data. There are also 2 post-credit scenes. One of them we see Weasel wake up on the beach, seemingly fine even though I thought he had died in the beginning of the movie. And the final scene sees Peacemaker in a hospital, having survived, and it looks like they're going to recruit him for a new mission, which obviously leads into the Peacemaker series that we'll be releasing on HBO Max next year. As for what I thought about the movie, I think it was actually pretty good, like a 6 or 7 out of 10. The action was fun. It was definitely a better movie because of the R rating. Some of the humor fell kind of flat for me, but it was still funny. Most of the humor came from the banter between Bloodsport and Peacemaker, and even though I found Bloodsport to be a lot more entertaining, I am looking forward to the Peacemaker show. It kind of sucked that they revealed Starro in the trailers, because that would have been a really interesting surprise, especially since Starro is usually a Justice League villain in the comics. Bloodsport to me was obviously meant to be the replacement black lead for Will Smith's Deadshot. His character even had a daughter who Amanda Waller used to get him to go on a mission, just like Amanda Waller did with Deadshot in the first Suicide Squad. I definitely would have liked to seen Michael Rooker's character Servant survive and actually do stuff in the movie, but oh well. Harley Quinn was definitely different in this movie, and she almost kind of wasn't there, partly because she wasn't as much of a focus as she was in the first film, but also because of her role in the film. It really changed to me. I think her character has gotten progressively less funny since the first Suicide Squad, but also her role as the sympathetic criminal that brings everyone together was kind of given over to Ratcatcher 2, who was an otherwise useless character up until the very end of the movie. King Shark had wasted potential in my opinion. I'm not sure why they just decided to make him fat and dumb, because in the DC comics, especially pre-New 52, King Shark was like leading a criminal empire in Atlantis. So obviously he has the intelligence and wherewithal to hold his own in that kind of environment. Polka Dot Man kind of had a redemption arc, even though he's a lame character, shouting, "I'm a superhero" right before he died, which was kind of ironic because that's exactly what his mom wanted him to be, and why she experimented on him in the first place. There were a couple cameos. One of them was Sean Gunn as Weasel, but he also played the character Calendar Man, and one of the creators of the Suicide Squad, John Ostrander, played the doctor who injected Savant with the exploding device. I already mentioned Taika Waititi as Ratcatcher 1, but Palm Clementif, who plays Mantis in Guardians of the Galaxy, appeared as one of the dancers in the club from the midpoint of the movie. Overall, I'd say I'd be pretty interested to see a sequel with some of these characters. Of course, I'm still hoping for the continuation of Zack Snyder's Justice League, as well as the release of the David Ayer cut of the original Suicide Squad. I may reduce the output of videos in the next couple weeks, just so I have time to handle my personal stuff, but hopefully not too much. But let me know what you guys think about the film in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Also hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. I'll see you all next time. Bye.